Hey everyone, today we'll take a look at Hyperdimension Neptunia U for the PC. Despite the way the game is named, it's not a Wii U game at all. It first came out on the PS Vita and was later ported over to the PC. And it's the PC version we're going to be looking at in this video. I enjoyed the Vita version a lot, and I even Planeptuned it. Mainly because it was so easy. Also, I did an unboxing of the special edition for the Vita, which you can see here. I'll talk about the game first and touch on PC-specific things later on. Neptunia U is a spin-off from the main Neptunia series, so I'm going to assume that you know who the characters are and what the premise of the games are. But honestly, I don't think you need to know that much to enjoy the game. Instead of being an RPG, like the main games in the series, Neptunia U is a hack and slash. I think this is the first Neptunia game that features real-time combat rather than turn-based. The game is made by Tamsoft, the same people who made Senran Kagura, Shinobi Versus, and Estival Versus, so the gameplay is similar. You control your character on a three-dimensional plane and beat up hordes of characters. And most importantly, like in Senran Kagura, when your character takes enough hits, their clothes rip off.
The going gets tough, pull back! Tactics 101!
Yes, I mean, why wouldn't they, right? The fan service is actually pretty tame though, in comparison to Senran Kagura games. Clothes rip off, and you get the occasional bounce and upskirt.
Take this! Yeah, take this! Better keep my guard up.
Also, unlike Senran Kagura games, Nep U is rated T, not M. The story's pretty lighthearted, and I like the banter between the characters. Basically, there are monsters that are plaguing game industry, and it's the CPUs and CPU candidates' job to get rid of them. The playable characters are the original gang of 4 and the 4 CPU candidates. Additionally, you also get to play as 2 new characters, Dengekiko and Famitsu. They represent famous Jap gaming magazines Dengeki and Famitsu. If you've read through Wikipedia articles of Japanese games, you'll surely have seen these names before. Both characters are journalists who follow the CPUs around and want to write articles on them and their adventures. Controls are fairly simple. In addition to the movement and camera controls, you have regular, special, EXE, and Lily special attacks. You can switch between 2 characters mid-battle, as well as transform into HDD mode, which gives you powered up attacks and higher overall stats.
From here. Yeah, there's the Neptune I know. You're a good rider.
The more you pair certain characters together, the higher their Lily rank goes. Higher rank pairs get more experience, and some other perks as well. Also, if you want, you can listen to a short conversation between the characters.
Just checking, but you're the Neptune I know from my dimension, right? And crash goes the 4th wall. Relax, girl. Don't confuse any new fans so soon.
The conversations become more affectionate the higher the ranking is.
You're so lazy, Neptune. That's because I trust you, silly.
Speaking of pairing characters together, characters say different things to each other during battle, and they're different depending which characters you've selected.
Rob, you must be butter because you're on a roll.
Some of the things they say are kind of amusing, but this can get a little bit repetitive, especially when they say the same stuff several times in a row. Just for that reason, I like to mix things up and use different characters every once in a while. It's nice that every character has a different fighting style, and the attacks are different in HDD mode also. My favorite characters to use are Neptune, Nepgear, Uni, Rom, and Ram. The Planeptune sisters just plow through enemies, especially in HDD mode. Rom and Ram are pretty good, but Uni is a little weak in her regular form.
Take over, Ryu. If you're hurt, let me know.
But once they're transformed, they just shoot everything away. Quests have different clearing requirements. It's usually something like killing a specific amount of enemies, a boss monster, or gathering items or drops. Though some quests require you to use certain characters, most of the time you can just choose whoever you want. Keep in mind that you only level up the characters you actually use, so it's always a good idea to rotate through the roster. Quests marked in red don't have a clear objective. With those, you just need to abandon the quest to find out what the mission specifics are. It's a bit annoying, especially because of the repetitive cutscene, but at least the objectives are often a bit different than normal quests. As you defeat characters, you'll notice that they drop coins. You can use these coins and unlock accessories, weapons, and general stat improvements that apply to all characters. As with all Neptunia games, you get to customize your character's appearance in both regular and HDD modes.
How do I look? Oh, it's so adorable!
Later on, you also unlock clothing that is harder or easier to tear, or if you prefer, you can just equip clothing that's already pre-torn. It's actually a better strategy to equip either the regular or the soft versions of clothing. Having your character's clothes torn off fills the EXE drive meter, allowing you to transform into HDD mode.
Transformation complete! There!
Since it's a hack and slash game, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to think that it's a bit repetitive, but that's just the nature of these kinds of games. Overall, the gameplay is simple, so there isn't really all that much to think about. The hits feel satisfying and the eyeballs are sufficiently stroked. I really like games that are simple and straightforward like this. That's probably why it was originally developed as a handheld game. Pick it up and just have a bit of fun. Then when you get annoyed, put it down for a bit. Once you're done the storyline, you get access to the game's post-game content and cheats. For cheats, you can turn on things like one-hit kills, infinite SP and EXE, or HDD toggling. You don't get access to all the cheats at first, you'll have to unlock them as you play. The two new game modes are Game Industry Gauntlet and Neptunia Tower. In Gauntlet, you try to beat the other CPUs in each round, with Iffy and Compa providing commentary. Once you've played through it at least once, you get to access Neptunia Tower. In Neptunia Tower, you have to beat 50 floors of enemies. This is pretty easy with cheats, and it's a good way to level up characters and raise their lily ranks. If you're trying to get all the achievements, you'll be spending a lot of time in Neptunia Tower. In terms of graphics, it's not a really bad looking game at all. But it's a bit disappointing that the environments aren't all that varied. You'll be playing a lot of the same levels over and over again throughout different quests. The textures are pretty flat looking, and it's easy to see that this was originally a Vita game. A lot of the illustrations and menu items look great, but at the same time the actual 3D portions look like it's been upsampled to 1080p, or maybe some sort of funky anti-aliasing going on. It's a bit weird how soft it looks compared to the relatively sharp fonts and overlays. Additionally, I noticed that while the game runs comfortably at 60 frames per second, things like the victory cutscenes have a strange juddering effect. Also, you can see that the overlays are 30 frames per second, yet the Lily Rank Up graphic is 60 frames per second. You barely see it before it's gone. You can tell it's a 30 frames per second animation run at twice the speed just to make it 60 frames per second. I don't understand why it's not done consistently. Also, the controls are more sensitive than they are with the Vita version. Some characters fly through the screen with the smallest analog stick inputs. It's not really that much of a complaint, but it's different than how it was to the Vita version. Speaking of controls, I'm using an Xbox 360 controller, but the keyboard controls are also an option. You can map the controls to any keys you want, but this kind of game is made for a controller, so that's what I use. The music in the game is pretty good. There's a lot of familiar music you've heard from other Neptunia games, but there's some new stuff as well. The sound effects are quite alright and basically what you'd expect from a game like this, but the monster sounds are really annoying, especially when there's a lot of them.
I'll take it.
All the cutscenes are voiced in English, which is nice, and there's an option to switch it to Japanese for the ultimate JDM experience.
Throw at you. Beat up your friends. Beat up your friends? That sounds kind of mean.
In the end, I think Hyperdimension Neptunia U is an enjoyable game, and I think it's the best Neptunia spin-off so far, at least until Mega Tag Mention Blonde comes out. Yes, the game is pretty easy, but at least it never becomes frustrating. If you want deeper game mechanics, more character customizability in game modes, or more fanservice, I would recommend Senran Kagura Shinobi Versus or Estival Versus. But those aren't available on computers, so there's that. I'm just glad that games like these are making their way over to the PC. The port isn't exactly perfect, but hopefully as more people want PC versions of these games, the quality of these ports will increase. Nep U is available on Steam if you want to pick it up. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.
Ow! My all-night gaming session has taken its toll. I'm not the type to give up after 1 or 2 tries.